Let me just make this point, John, because we're not campaigning anymore. The election's over.
I'm reminded of that every day.
John McCain is a drowning man, grabbing desperately onto anything he thinks can help save him. He's still bitter he lost in 2008, and now his time as a powerful senator is waning. He sees Benghazi as a life raft he can cling to as a way to try to hurt Obama and remain relevant. See, in January, he'll be forced by term limits to leave the Senate Armed Forces Committee, which makes him one of the more powerful and visible senators. In Benghazi, he hoped he'd find the scandal that would embarrass Obama and allow the creation of a new committee that would investigate Benghazi, with him as its leader, lengthening his time as a top senator. But instead of pursuing reasonable questions about consulate security, he fixated on a conspiracy about a pre-election cover-up and attacked Susan Rice as incompetent and unqualified.
If this select committee, if appointed, clears her of any wrongdoing, besides not being very bright, because it was obvious that this was not a, quote, flash mob.
Susan Rice, by the way, is a Rhodes Scholar and a Clinton foreign policy advisor who's had success as an assistant secretary of state and a UN ambassador. Madeleine Albright, former secretary of state, has said she's one of the smartest people I know on national security. There are now reports backing up claims that Ambassador Rice just delivered the message that she received from our intelligence community. CBS News reports the points were not edited to minimize the role of extremists, diminish terrorist affiliations, or play down that this was an attack. The intelligence community opted to leave specific reference to al-Qaeda and terrorism out of her presentation because they didn't want al-Qaeda to know that we knew what we knew. This is classic investigative philosophy. Don't let the suspects know you suspect them. It's clear to me there was no mendacity by Susan Rice, no incompetence. There was no cover-up by the White House. To continue to argue there was any of that is now tinfoil hat stuff. There is also now no will to filibuster to block Rice. This is perhaps why John McCain has softened his tone.
But you're saying that she could conceivably get your vote for Secretary of State?
I think she deserves the ability and the opportunity to explain herself and her position, just as she said. But she's not the problem. The problem is the President of the United States.
That's an end, I hope, to the vicious and baseless character attack that has made Rice the center of a witch hunt by the right, even though she has done nothing to disqualify herself. McCain tried to make her unnominatable, but made it so Obama will look weak if he doesn't nominate her and will disappoint the left. McCain asserted an inappropriate political cover-up while pursuing an inappropriate political attack. He also gave us the horrible optics of he and Lindsey Graham as old white establishment folks wrongly and repeatedly attacking a much younger black woman moments after an election in which blacks and women went strongly blue. Looks like the GOP is already laying the foundation for losing in 2016. I leave it to you to decide how much of the tarring of Rice as incompetent and unqualified is about the myth of black inferiority and female inferiority, and how much is about McCain flailing at anyone within arm's reach, desperate for a dinghy as he feels himself sinking, descending down the ladder of power, dropping toward irrelevance